Welcome to this lesson. This is Form 1 Chemistry. The first topic, that is the introduction to chemistry. You have joined Form 1 from primary. And now, there are few things that are going to change from what you are covering in primary. In primary, you covered what we call science. Science, you covered many things about water, about the heart, about how the function of the body, about vertebrates, so many things you covered. So that helps you to understand the environment. So science helps you to understand the environment. Understand the environment. And very important, because you interact with your environment, and the better you know it, the better you are likely to handle things. Now that you have joined secondary, that is, you have joined Form 1, or you are in Form 1 already, things are going to change a little bit. The science that you covered in primary will be divided into 3 sections. So this is science you covered in primary. So it will be divided to a branch of science which is known as chemistry. You also cover another branch of science known as biology. And you have another branch known as physics. So now this is the same science that you had covered in primary, but now it has been divided into 3 sections. You are going to learn more about that in later topics, but for now you understand that you will be covering these three sciences known as chemistry, biology, and physics. And maybe later, as you run, when you get to Form 3, you may drop one of the sciences and concentrate on either 2, depending on the career you are going to pursue or of your interest. In most cases, or in most schools, chemistry is normally compulsory. So you may either drop biology or physics. For example, if you want to be an engineer, you would drop biology and take physics. If you want to be in a medical field, like you want to be a doctor, you would prefer to take chemistry and biology and leave physics. So that is what determines what you would drop in this case. So that is what you will be doing in high school. Now, from there, we are going to look at some of the things that you cover. In this topic now, we will concentrate on chemistry. So we will look at some of the things that you covered in primary that are under chemistry. So you can say some of the things you learned in primary. Primary science that are under chemistry. When you be doing physics and biology, you also cover. But this, because here we are dealing with chemistry, what did you learn? Some of the things that you learn are like properties of matter. Properties of matter. Properties of matter. You also learned about mixtures. That is when you mix two or more things, you get, for example, when you mix salt and water, you get a salty solution. When you mix water and milk, when you are preparing tea, so those are what we are referring to as mixtures. Or when you mix salt and maize flour, or when you mix soil and sand. So those are the ones that we are referring to of as mixtures. You also learned methods of separation. Methods of separation, that is separating two things. You are also taught about drugs. We have drugs positive, the ones that you get in hospital, the ones that are destructive to your body. You covered that. You also covered things like pollution and so many other things that are under chemistry, but these are just some of them. So we are going to look at, from here, we are going to look at the properties of matter. So in properties of matter, we will first of all start by defining what is matter. Matter is anything that occupies, that is matter is anything that has weight, that has mass. As for now, let's use mass, and occupies space. So that is the simplest definition of matter. And you can give an example of matter. For example, you can say water. Water occupies space and has mass. We also can talk of soil. Is also a matter. We can talk of air. We can talk of, when it comes to air, we are going to show some of you may think that air has no weight, and we are going to look at an experiment that proves that air has weight. So we have like wood, we have metal, clothes. So anything that that has mass and occupies space. I think here we need to correct occupy space. I think space is referred to as matter, and I've given you some examples of matter which can be found in our environment. So as we continue to discuss matter, we say that matter exists in three states. Matter exists in three states. One of them is solid. For example, a stone is a solid, wood is solid. Then we have another state that is liquid, and we have another state that is gas. So matter exists in these three states. Before we talk about the different states that we have, it is important to note that you can change, and matter can be changed from one form to another, or from one state to another, by heating and cooling. So before we do that, we look at that. We can give examples of solid, that is like wood, metal, pencil. This is solid. This is solid. So that is solid. Liquid, we can talk of water. We can talk of milk, that is also liquid. We can talk of oil. So those are some of the examples. Gas, we can talk of oxygen. Oxygen, like the one that is used in hospital. We also have gas that we use for writing, but let's not put it here. We also have hydrogen. You also learned in science in primary the composition of the the gases in the atmosphere. So though these are just examples. Now we look at how matter changes from one form to another. We have changed, you can change. So we can say you can have your solid here. Solid can be, okay, let's first of all write the three states. So that is solid, this is liquid, and this is gas. This is gas. Gas here, we can also refer to it as vapor. So we are going to use an arrow here to represent the changes. And this is, for example, if you have ice. If you heat ice, it will turn to water. It will turn to water. So you have, this is, you heat. If you further heat water to the boiling point, it turns to gas, or what we call to vapor. So here you heat again, it will turn to vapor. If you trap that vapor and cool it, it will turn to liquid water. So this is cooling, cool. If you cool water, it will turn to ice. So that is how matter changes from one state to the other. You can give an example here of ice. That is, we have ice. If you heat ice, that is heat, it will turn to liquid water, that is water. If you further heat, that is heat, it will turn to water vapor. Water vapor. Okay, if you cool the water vapor, it will turn to liquid water. It will turn to, that is, you cool, it will turn to water. If you further cool, subject it to, that is, you make water cold, that is below 0 degrees centigrade, then it turns to ice. So this is an example of how the matter changes from one state to another. From there we look at the state of matter. Okay, not state, but properties of matter. Properties of matter. So properties, we have talked of solid, we have talked of solid, we have talked of, this is solid, we have talked of liquid, and we have talked of gas. So these are the three states of matter. Now we can take this to be a piece of wood, or a block of metal, like that. We can take this to be a bowl full of, okay, with some water inside. So this is water. Then we have, we may have, okay, you can take, this is a cube that has gas trapped inside, or maybe a cylinder. Okay, let's use, I think better use a cylinder like the one that we use when we are cooking. So this is a cylinder with the gas inside, which we can use that to represent gas. So in this particular the properties of matter, we say that we can complete that. So this is liquid, this is gas, and this is, so we talk of the shape. If you take a piece of wood, a piece of metal, you cannot press it and reduce it in terms of volume or shape, or change the shape, unless you use excess force. So what we do when it comes to solid, we say solids have definite shape, shape, or we, a simpler word, we can say fixed shape. That is, you cannot just change the shape of a solid unless you use excess force. When you take water, if you take a glass of water and you pour it in a cup, the water will change to the shape of the cup. So we say this one, liquid don't have fixed volume or shape. So they take the shape of the container. You can put it there, take the shape of the container. So that's what. Let's come to gas. Gas, it can be. It doesn't have has no definite shape. That is, you can press gas and you reduce the shape. That is, it takes the shape of the container, but it can be pressed so that it reduces in volume, and therefore its shape will change. So we can say do not have definite shape. Do not have definite shape. So that's about the gas. The second one is volume. I talk of volume. When it comes to a solid, it has definite volume. Definite volume. That is, you cannot change the volume of maybe a piece of wood, the volume of a piece of metal. It cannot change. So also with water, with the liquid, you cannot compress liquid and change the volume. That is, either reduce or increase, unless you subject it either to heat or something. So we also say liquid have definite volume. This one, gas, also this is not 2, not 3, but 2. We say that have no definite volume, simply because you can be able to compress gas and reduce the volume. And when you release it, when you release the pressure, it will come back to its original volume. So that's about the properties of matter. Maybe I can use a diagram here to illustrate that. So this is a diagram showing, so this is a solid, this is a liquid, and this is a gas. Maybe you can, if you want to draw it and want to show the properties of matter, you can use this diagram. So you can see this solid here has definite shape and volume. This one has a definite shape, have no definite shape, but have a definite volume. It takes the shape of the container. This one, it doesn't have a definite shape, neither does it have definite volume. So that is very important. So we are going to look at to continue with this, and what we are going to cover next is we have looked at properties of matter. So we look at we are going to look at mixtures. We are going to look at mixtures. But before I wind up the class, we have said that the matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. So, and a simple experiment that can show you that air has volume, you can take two balloons of the same size. One of it you can inflate it with air and tie it there. The other one you can leave it without air inside, and then you can put a string. You can tie one on the one end and the other one on the other end. Maybe you can take a stick or a wire, and you can, first of all, you can balance the wire, and then you tie the balloon so that you mark the center here. Once you do that, when you put the balloons, you find that this one will pull up this one. Why? Because air here, air that is inside here, has weight, and this one has a low volume of air. So this one will go up, this one will go down. So air is a matter, and it is important to note that. This is a simple experiment you can do at home. So let's have a break, and then we look at mixtures. Okay, like I have mentioned, we are going to look at mixtures. And what is a mixture? I'm very sure this is not a very new term to you. So we can a mixture is a substance that is made up of two substance or more substance mixed together. So you can say, let's say matter is found either, so matter is found either in pure substance or mixture. I'm sure you have heard, you have heard of people, some vendors selling honey. They normally say that they are selling pure honey. What does that mean? They are implying that they have not mixed with other substances. So we can say pure substance means, so pure substance means it contains only one type, means it contains only one type. For example, sugar. You can buy some sugar, but suppose the shopkeeper had poured some amount of sugar and decided to correct. So after mixing, that would not be pure. Or maybe if you mix, you have sugar, that is pure. If you have sugar mixed with salt, that is a mixture. So we can say a mixture consists of two. A mixture consists of two or more substances mixed together. More substances mixed together. I'm sure you have you had covered this in your primary science course. So we are just want to start. Normally when we are learning, we'd like to start from what we know to what we don't know. So because now you are advancing, like I have mentioned that now you'll be doing chemistry as a branch of science, then we have to start with what we have already covered maybe in our previous courses. Now, when we mix two substances, they maintain their physical and chemical properties. When you mix two substances, they make a mixture. These two, the two substances retain their physical and chemical properties. What does that mean? It means if you mix sugar and salt, in their dry form, that is the pebbles of sugar and salt, they will maintain their physical property. That is, if you can, it is possible you can be able to separate one on one. Or a good example, if you mix maize and beans, it becomes a mixture that we use to cook githeri. But now the maize retains its physical property, and also the beans maintains their physical property. So that's what that statement means. Then from there we look at how can we separate mixtures. So we can say mixtures can be separated in several ways. So mixtures, so this is mixtures can be separated, by physical means, such as winnowing. I'm sure you have covered that in your primary. You know how to winnow, like when maize is harvested, you separate chaff from the seeds. We have also sieving, like the way we separate tea, tea, that is tea, and when we are sieving tea, then we have filtering, then we have decanting, and use of magnet. So these are some of the methods that we use to separate mixtures, the physical means of separating mixtures. So just to remind you, I'm going to demonstrate with a few pictures which we can be able to run some of these ways of separating mixtures. So like I have promised, these are the photos of some of the separating methods that we use physically. So this is what we have called winnowing. So that is what these rays are doing there. After that, this is what I've referred to as sieving, like the way we do when we are preparing tea. Then this is what we have mentioned as filtering. There is a filter paper here. You are going to run some of these things more in details when you will be doing the experiments in the lab. This is separation by evaporation. This is decanting. Separation by decanting. So you can see it's trying to remove the blue liquid and remain with, I think, these are solids which are like brown in color. This is what we have talked of magnet. Magnet, you can magnetic method. That is, if you have sand and you mixed with the iron filings, you can separate, because the magnet, you attract the iron filings, and sand is not attractable by the magnet, so you'll be able to separate. So that is all about mixtures that we are going to cover at this stage. Let's have a look at what are conductors and non-conductors. We are going to look at conductors and non-conductors. Conductors, in primary science, you learned electricity is a form of energy. So in primary science, you learned that electricity is a form of energy. Why are we saying it's a form of energy? Because we use electricity to do work. For example, we have machines using electricity to do work. Now, there are other forms of the energy, but for now, let's just have a look at electric energy. So, what is so this is electricity is one of the form of energy which is important. So electricity is one of the form of energy, is one of the form of energy a form of energy which is important in the study of chemistry, which is important in the study of chemistry. Okay, we will not look into this in details, but this electricity, we are going to use it in many areas in chemistry. For example, when we are conducting electricity, when we are conducting experiment. So what is a conductor and a non-conductor? We can say substances that allow electrical energy. So it says substances that allow electrical energy to pass. Electrical energy to flow through them, are called conductors. For example, the wires that are in the house that have done wiring, they allow electricity to pass through them. Okay, we have other substances, as we are going to other metals that allow electricity to pass through them. We also have some liquids that also allow electrical energy to pass through or to flow through them. So those substances that do not allow, so substances that do not allow, let's correct that, do not allow electrical energy to flow through them. Are called non-conductors. So these are substances that do not allow electric energy to pass through them. For example, we have wood, we have plastic, we have that is dry wood, we have plastics, and several. Let's have a look at some of these that do not allow the electrical energy to pass through them, and some that do not. So here we have a photo. So these are metals. These are 5 electrical conductors, just a sample of them. We have silver, we have gold, we have copper, we have steel, and we have seawater, and just among those substances that allow electrical energy to pass through them. Then 5 electrical insulators. Insulator is are materials that do not allow electrical energy to pass through them. like the wires that are used to connect electricity. There is a plastic covering that is around them. So these are the insulators, so that you don't get shocked by the electric current. So this is rubber. We have grass, also does not allow electric energy to pass through. We have oil, we have diamond, and we have dry wood. Wet wood allows electricity energy, electrical energy to pass, but dry wood does not. That is why it is recommended that if someone is has touched a live wire of electricity, you do not use wet wood to disconnect us, because you also be shocked. So from there, let's have a look at the drugs and drugs abuse. So drugs and drugs abuse, you have done this also in primary. Remember, this is just an introduction of what is chemistry, or what you'll be covering in chemistry, and this will lead us to the definition of chemistry. So we have several types of drugs. They have the drugs that we get from hospital. They are called medicines. We have other drugs that are obtained from other sources, like in shop, in restaurant, and so forth. These are like cigarettes. We have alcohol, we have mirrors. So those are drugs. So what is a drug? A drug is any substance, natural or manufactured, which when used alters the way the body functions. And that is, for example, when one has taken alcohol, you see them staggering. So it has altered the functions of the body. So that's a drug. Sometimes you find people that have taken bang, misbehaving or doing things that are not ordinary. So we can define a drug and say a drug is any substance natural or manufactured, natural or manufactured, which when used when used alters the way the body functions, I'm sure you have come across such drugs. Some are sold in the shop, like cigarettes, some like that, and I'm sure you have come across someone who has used. We are going to look at pictures of such drugs, in case you have not come across some of them. From there, we say those drugs that are used to treat for treatment are called medicines. So we can say drugs used for treatment of diseases. Are called medicines. So medicines, they are handled by qualified personnel, or they are administered by qualified medical personnel, like the doctors, the nurses. Those are the personnel that we are talking about. What is given to be, so we have terms like a dose. This is a specific amount that is given, so it is a specific amount of medicine to heal a given situation, given ailment. So the doctor will give you a certain number of drugs, if they are tablets, if they are liquid, a specific unit. There are instructions that the doctor would give. Remember, in the medical health, there are different types of personnel. For example, there are doctors, there are pharmacists, the medical doctors, there are pharmacists, those who administer drugs. There are lab technicians that they carry out the testing in the lab. So the note that is given by a doctor is known as prescription. Prescription. Let me see, I don't know whether that is correct. Let me check the spelling of that. So it is called prescription. It's called prescription. So for example, when you go to, sometimes you get to a hospital and there are no drugs available, the doctor gives you a note to go to the chemist to buy drugs for the purpose that you want you to use. So that note is known as a prescription. Now that is a drug. What about the drug abuse? The drug abuse, we say drug abuse, is when you use a drug in a manner that is not meant for. For example, you may use a drug and you are not sick, just to attain a certain condition. You may take overdose just to get a certain kind of a feeling or situation. You may also when you don't take the prescribed drugs and the number or the amount, that is what we call underdose. That is also called drug abuse. So you can say drug abuse is when one uses. So you say drug abuse is when one uses a drug for a purpose. Drug for a purpose. Drug for that is not meant. That is not meant. So we have that is not meant. That is not meant for. So just that's a drug abuse. We also say when you overdose or underdose, that is also a drug abuse as prescribed or as recommended by the medical personnel. So that is what we call drug abuse, and it can be very dangerous. Even when you go to hospital and you are given your dose, and maybe after taking half of it, you feel that you are better, you should finish the dose so that it eliminates all the we call them germs or virus in your body. Sometimes when you don't finish your dose, then the viruses or the germs that have caused that particular condition will regain again, and now this time they will become stronger. So that is why it is recommended that you take your whole dose. So from there, let's have a look at drugs that have harmful effect. So we have drugs that have harmful effect. This is harmful effect to our health. So some of these drugs which are common, you find them in our society. We have alcohol, cigarettes, bangi, miraa, and so forth. What do they cause? One, they can cause stress. That is one. Two, they can cause depression. Depression. The other effect is hallucination. Hallucination. The other is addiction. That is, you want to use that particular substance all the time. We have dependency. Dependency means you cannot function without that particular substance. Sometimes they can kill, they can be fatal, and many other effects that we experience from these drugs. So it is important to note that when you start using drugs, then you may have one or multiple of this effect, and even some others that we have not mentioned. So let's have a look at commonly used abused drugs. So we have commonly abused drugs. Drugs. So these drugs include tobacco. Tobacco, they may be in form of cigarette. They may be in form of some people eat that black tobacco. We also have alcohol. For example, currently it's being used by very many people, misused, even the young people, and some are even killing our members of our society. We have bang, also misused. We have cat, or in another word we call it miraa, which is also has others that called mugoka or something like that. Those are the commonly abused drugs in our society. From there, we look at harmful effect of tobacco. Harmful effect. This is harmful, not like that. Harmful effect of tobacco. Tobacco has many effects, which I may not even be able to mention here, but the most common one is lung cancer. Lung cancer, which has affected very many people in our society. We have heart failure. Among many, heart failure among many. So we also have harmful effects of alcohol. I'm just mentioning a few. They quite a number of them. Harmful effect of alcohol, so harmful effect of alcohol. One of them, very common, is river problems, and this has killed very many people, or in other words, scientifically it is called liver cirrhosis. Liver cirrhosis. What about Bangi? That is, we have bang, also misused. This may even cause mental disorder. We have seen mental disorder. We have seen some people taking it and they or smoking it, and they end up getting mad and going to those hospitals like Madare. We have cat also. Cat is also widely used, so we can have some effect like prolonged addiction. This means that one cannot do without or perform his duties without. Also dependency, which is also similar to addiction. The difference is that is dependency. This it also means that you cannot do that. You cannot function properly without this. Addiction is just they are sort of a similar thing. We have vascular disorder. Vascular disorder. So that those are some of these are just a few. Otherwise, there are quite a number, and we cannot exhaust. Maybe later on we'll be able to look at that. So that is some of the things that you have covered in your science course, and so we come up to our question now: what is chemistry? So what is chemistry? Or rather, how do you define chemistry? So we have seen that what we have gone overview of what you had covered, and we have looked at the state of matter. We have looked at the state of matter. As you use that, we have looked at the state of matter and its property. State of matter and its properties. We have also looked at mixtures and common methods of separation. Mixtures and common methods of separation. Common method of separation. We have also looked at briefly looked at drugs. So chemistry will be revolving around this. So we can now be able to define chemistry and say chemistry is a study of structure, the structure of matter. So chemistry is the study of the structure Chemistry is a study of structure. Okay. Properties. Properties. Chemistry is a study of structure, properties, and composition. And composition. Properties and composition of matter. and the changes that matter undergoes, and the changes that matter undergoes, and the changes that matter undergoes. Let's correct that. So that is the definition of chemistry. So you can say this is a definition of chemistry. So you can say, we are saying chemistry is a study of structure. Remember we talked of the state of matter and its state. That is, matter exists in three states: solid, liquid, and gas. We also look at the properties and composition of matter. What makes that matter that we are talking about, and the changes that matter undergoes when subjected to certain conditions, for example, heat. So it is important that you master this definition, and that will help you in future to understand what is chemistry. So that is a definition of chemistry. So chemistry, we also say, what does it involve in chemistry, or when you are chemist? In chemistry, what we do is, so we can say chemistry involves carrying out experiments. So carrying out experiment. As you move on, experiments, you'll be doing so many experiments. After you do experiment, just to test a certain property, then you make observation, making observation. After you make observation, you do the analysis. And once you do the analysis, you do interpretation. Once you do the interpretation, then you finally make conclusion. So that is what chemistry is all about. You do experiments, you make observation, you do analysis of your observation, you make interpretation, and finally you make conclusion that whatever you are testing, now you can be able to see this is what can this is what can be done. So that is what chemistry is all about. So from here, we are going to look at the roles of chemistry in our society. How does this chemistry help us? And we look at several ways where we make use of chemistry to make our lives better. So we'll go to that. That will be the winding part of this lesson, which is the introduction of chemistry. So the role of chemistry in society. Now, all around you, you are surrounded by chemistry. Although this is the introduction of what is chemistry, we are trying to learn what you'll be doing in chemistry. But all around you, you are surrounded by so many things that involve chemistry. For example, you are surrounded by water. You are surrounded by, you have water around, you have soap. This is chemistry. We have body lotion. You have hair oils. You have hair oils. We have plastics. like the washing plastic, the ones that you use in kitchen. All this involved, there's chemistry involved in this. We also in kitchen you find things like sugar. You have porridge, porridge flour. You have things like milk. You have tea. You have things like bread. We have vegetables in kitchen. You may also have things like fruits. There's chemistry involved in these things. I don't know whether you have ever wondered how are these things made? How are these things made? So there is a chemistry in preparation of that. Things like cooking oil, all those things, there is a lot of chemistry. There are some industries producing products that we use in our daily life, that we use almost in every sector of our lives. So we can just list a few areas where chemistry help us. So we can say chemistry offers. There are also those who work in the areas where chemistry is used, like in medicine. So careers in chemistry. We have those who are working medicine, the area of medicine. We have pharmacy. We have food technology. So the chemistry help us to improve. We have in education, like chemistry teachers. We have engineering. Yes, we also have like chemical engineering, where chemistry is involved. So these are some of the careers that exist and that require chemistry. So if you have a plan, or you intend to be one of these and many other careers that where chemistry is applied, it is time you get serious. So we are going to look at how chemistry help us improve the standard of living. So we can say chemistry help us to improve our standard of living. So where are some of these areas? Some of the areas where we use chemistry is manufacture of drugs to fight diseases. So we have manufacture of drugs to fight diseases. So chemistry has contributed a lot in this area, because there are some diseases which we are now able to control. We have vaccines, we have drugs that have made out of the knowledge of chemistry. So it has helped us improve in terms of health. Another area is in food production. To fight hunger. So there is a lot of chemistry that is used to improve the production of food. In fact, one area we say that like a country which has developed a lot in that area is Israel, which is a desert, and now they even produce their own food enough to feed their people and export to some of us that like they export to us Kenyans. Then we have manufacture of cheap alternative manufacture of cheap alternative fabrics, like you can say such as nylon. So if you have a nylon garment, you know that there's a lot of chemistry in that as you continue running in this course. So we have polyester. There are some materials that we call polyester garments. We have others like tetron, and so we use these garments to make clothes, which have helped us improve in our area of life. So we have another important area where chemistry has really been helpful is manufacture of plastic. Manufacture of plastics, and they have for roofing. We have packaging, and domestic use, use. So that's another area. Plastics is made from out of chemistry, a lot of chemistry involved there. So we have number 5, manufacture of detergent. Manufacture of detergents. Okay, there is a lot of chemistry also involved there. Even there are some people who are making this detergent at home using chemicals. So that is chemistry in use. And 6, we have production of fuels to transport. So production of fuels for transport and domestic use. Domestic use, this includes alternative. So this includes alternative. This includes alternative fuels to reduce global pollution, as well as supplement of supplement of fossil so we have so these are some of the, okay, we have also others. These are just some of them. Production of fuel for transport, like petrol, diesel, that we use in vehicles to transport fabric and goods from one place to the other. We also have production of other fuels, like now we have production of fuel using a byproduct of sugar company. I don't remember that. What do we call it? There is a byproduct of sugar that we use to produce fuel. So all this is chemistry, and if you look around you, of course, there is something next to you where there is chemistry. So chemistry is widely used to make our life better, and it's still going on. We have areas like even like Mombasa refinery, where we refine our fuel. There is a lot of chemistry that is applied there. You are going to cover this in course of your week, course of your running, before you get that is before you do your final exam in Form 4. So that brings us to the end of this lesson. It has taken long, but I guess since it is just in introduction of chemistry, it was important that we cover the whole of it. This is lesson 1. In our next lesson, we are going to look at those apparatus that are used in chemistry, especially in chemistry lab. The apparatus that we use to conduct experiment, which you need to know. So you go through them, and that will be our lesson 2. So you can search Form 1 chemistry lesson 2. This is lesson 1. You'll be able to get it. I hope you have enjoyed, and we are going to do this and many more lessons like this.